Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan,
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
and for this Valentine's Day, we watched 50 First Dates. So had anyone seen this film before? Because I remember, when it must have been when it had first come out. I think my family rented it from Blockbuster. I remember watching it. I think I've seen it once more since then, but it has genuinely been ages since I've seen this.
I never saw it. I think the last film I watched with Adam Sandler in, willingly, was Click. And
Yep.
I hated it so much that I never watched another Adam Sandler movie willingly.
I watched Click after this, so I watched this when I was young. Probably when it first came out. I like this film.
Yeah, it was.
I wanted to dislike this film.
So did
I'm just putting that out there.
I-
I don't like Adam Sandler as a general rule.
No, he's awful. But he's not. Well, I don't know him personally.
No, there's.
His acting is very boring.
I found with this movie there was half of the cast who I really enjoyed,
Mhm.
and then
Other half is-
specifically-
Parts of it have
awful.
aged like milk.
specifically
yeah,
one member of
100,000%.
the cast who every time he was on screen I was like, this is just racist, fuck off.
Yeah, it was sort of.
Yeah,
He's technically a bit ethnic.
but he's
But
definitely
not
darkened
enough
up for,
to
for the movie.
they did darken his skin and make him look Hawaiian, like
Yeah.
native.
Yeah.
But,
Which, if you're ever doing that as an actor, don't
maybe
you
stop? Maybe
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
you're thinking, I have to look really tan and like a different race for this. You know what? Maybe this isn't the role for me.
Maybe we should hire someone else.
Maybe get a fucking Hawaiian actor or
Which-
native.
They did in other roles. Oh
Yeah.
man, I hate that. I hate. The one thing I really hate about films when they do that is they have main lead playing like a race that's not theirs, but
Yeah.
they hire
Yeah.
members of that race as extras.
It's probably
Yeah.
mainly because obviously he likes having his friends in the movies, but
Yeah.
still doesn't excuse
Yeah, but when you're
it.
writing a story, you can
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
not have the
Yeah.
Can
That-
his
change-
friend be Hawaiian.
That character could very easily have just been another white guy.
I noticed that none of us are saying his name. Have you forgotten as well?
I didn't
Rob
know he had one.
Schneider,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know the character's name.
Deuce Bigelow. I think the character's name was Ula.
Right.
But anyway, to get into the movie
Yeah,
properly,
Get into the movie, 'cause the
Adam
movie-
Sandler, Henry, is somehow an absolute player on Hawaii.
He's not. So he's no. That's a
Yeah, he's a real
fucking
stud,
wild
and that really
point.
immediately just did not
Yeah.
come
That's
through.
a
He's like,
wild
he
point.
pulls a lot.
Yeah.
And he can't settle down because he wants to go to Alaska.
Yeah, he wants to go and study walruses on their
Well-
natural undersea behavior.
When you say he pulls it, this has that vibe of which a lot of rom-coms at this point did, where the main guy is a terrible arsehole. He's just an awful person, but the movie's trying to get you so hard to like him.
Yeah,
He hasn't done anything worth liking. Ever.
Well, yeah, he at the start he's like he just gives girls the sort of Hawaiian fling that they want.
yeah. Also, we get a glimpse of how he does it, which is he
Mhm.
gets them drunk, which was an entire scene that felt really uncomfortable to watch now.
Well, he said he doesn't get them drunk; he gets them pretend drunk.
yeah, because what she was
He was-
drinking
yeah,
didn't
she was
actually
saying
have
he-
alcohol in it.
Yeah, he was
But,
buying
yeah.
virgin cocktails for them so that they'd relax, thinking they were drinking when they weren't, so that he could then
Still,
That's
still
not
so that they
yeah,
wouldn't
that's
get
not
so
as
fucking
bad.
drunk he could have sex with them. That was
That's
like
not
the
as
aim
bad.
was to have them be sober enough to consent to sex.
Which is definitely something he wrote in after someone pointed that out to him, right?
Probably.
It's like you shouldn't
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
saying that
this
you
is-
want to get these girls sloppy
Yeah.
drunk, especially when she
Ooh.
downs a what is it, a fish bowl
Yeah.
of Blue Lagoon.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The
big
other,
player.
the other shitty thing in this is the kind of transphobic comments as well. There's the
Kind of
very,
transphobic.
very yeah, because there's the other person that works with him in the vets, and when he gets the walrus to throw up all over her, that's just
That was
a bit-
gross.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting there to be quite that much vomit quite that
Yeah.
early on in the film.
no, exactly.
She was just comic relief, but it's like when the comic relief is mostly transphobic jokes, it's like that's really not funny.
No.
And I don't.
Yeah.
It's like the joke is that she looks like a man, but she clearly isn't a man.
No, exactly.
So it's not. I mean, some of the jokes, I guess, were okay. Not even okay, but he said, "Oh, why don't you get with?" He tells the girl that he doesn't want to sleep with anymore. Oh, have a go with that guy over there, and he's talking about his colleague. And then later she's like, well, I didn't go through with it because I like boys and not girls. And it's like, is that
Yeah,
a joke?
it's just weird.
Yeah.
And like, she's Russian,
Yeah.
which is
it's-
also apparently a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so very unnecessary.
Didn't age well, like, at
Yeah.
all.
No.
And like, it wasn't good then, but at least then, like, that was that level of humor.
Yeah. Those kind of. It
Like,
was the
that
early
was-
2000s. That kind of thing,
Was
as bad as it was
no
happening a
one-
lot.
yeah,
just
no
like,
one cared
yeah.
about it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one thought, oh, this
Yeah.
could actually be offending or hurting someone's feelings, or
No.
you know, setting up a lot of bigotry.
No,
And the people
exactly.
that did care were told to shh
Yeah.
and
Don't be a
sit down.
snowflake.
Yeah,
It was almost like anti-political correctness. I remember that being quite a big thing
yeah,
as well when I was that age. It was like, yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of
That-
comedies were like the shock humor was that they knew it was kind of not okay, but they were doing it anyway because they don't get bossed around by what people think is okay.
yeah. But when you tell the same joke 20 odd times
Yeah.
about the same character, it's just boring
Yeah.
after a while.
Exactly.
And kind
yeah.
of bullying as well. Like he's
Yeah.
just not very nice to her.
No.
No, not at all.
But speaking of
Yeah.
things that are sort of the other way round, where in the early 2000s everyone was into them, and now, I mean, she had a bit of a comeback, but Drew Barrymore, like, how good was she in this?
She has her own show.
Yeah. And
Had her own
she did Santa
talk
Clarita
show.
Diet, like,
Yeah.
as well. But, like, there was, like, a period of time where she sort of wasn't really in much. But, like, I actually forgot it was Drew Barrymore in this, not gonna lie.
Drew Barrymore's great.
But, yeah, she was so
yeah,
good
she
in
did
this.
she had a funny, she had a sort of, well, I don't think she had a little bit like step away from the camera. Didn't she just go and have a family?
Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
And like, you know, you can't act and be pregnant.
Yeah.
Apparently.
you can, but they have to make you carry a bag
Or wear a big coat.
or wear a big coat.
Yeah. But
Uh,
one joke that genuinely did make me laugh is when Adam Sandler's first sitting in that like Hawaiian restaurant and he's like staring at her and there's this other guy sitting between them. And he's just like, "Are you staring at me or her? Because I'm getting uncomfortable."
Yeah.
So this film.
Oh, yeah,
I
we've
just
not
want to
really
say
done
something
any
else
plot,
that
have we?
hasn't
Yeah, we
something
should
that
probably
else
look
that
at
hasn't aged well. Just before we get to the plot,
Yeah.
is the fucking sunglasses.
What do you mean? Fine.
All the sunglasses in this film are hella ugly,
No, they are.
It's all early 2000s. Like,
and it's very
Yeah.
difficult to try and take something seriously, especially when it's one Adam Sandler, two pretending to be a player, and three wearing really awful sort of what are they like Oakley sunglasses, like surfer ones that really glue to your face.
Yeah.
they really don't suit him, do they?
No,
No.
they really emphasize the curvature of his head.
Yeah.
No.
So this film's about a girl who can't remember very much.
She has a one-day memory, which isn't a real thing.
No one can have
They
that. You
live
would,
into it.
if your brain is that damaged, you've got a lot of other problems.
Yeah.
Well, from what I can tell, there is a form of amnesia which is similar, but it's a lot shorter.
Yeah, it's like
So it's
90
like-
minutes or something, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Whereas like this, it's weird that there's been like this doesn't exist. However,
Yeah.
shorter versions of it do, and longer versions of it do. But one day is so bizarre.
Yeah, especially because it seems like the sort of resetting factor seems to be when she goes to sleep.
Yeah, which is
Which do you think if she has a nap in the day, it really fucks her over? Like,
she. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't cover that. They really
No.
don't probe too far into it.
no.
because they probably went to a doctor to be like, "Hey, is this possible?" And they went, "No."
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
No. All right, we
Yeah,
can just
they're like,
make it up as we go along. There.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
So she is reliving every day like it's her dad's birthday.
Yeah, it was his birthday.
And she has a bit of a breakdown whenever she realizes it's not her dad's birthday.
yeah, well, she was in a car accident that
Yeah.
gave
Yeah.
her brain damage.
Yeah, because
she
a cow
only
walked
It's
in.
about a year on from then, isn't it? So
Yeah.
they've been sort of trying to deal with her brain injury for a year.
And they've been dealing with it by pretending that every day is the exact same day.
Yeah, so they like reset everything every single day. They're like, he gets her to paint the garage, and then once she's painted it, he paints back over it. And
Which
then...
really, yeah, that baffled me as well
Yeah.
because I'm like,
Yeah.
why don't
Yeah.
you just not suggest to her that you paint the garage?
No, maybe he could like paint the living room or something.
Like,
Yeah,
No.
get her to do up the house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
well, no, because that means every time she wakes up, she'll be like, "Oh, this is different." You-
Yeah, that's a good
And-
point actually. And she enjoys painting, I suppose, because she
Yeah,
was an
no,
art
they
teacher,
do
wasn't
care
she?
about her. Yeah,
Yeah.
they want
Yeah.
her to do things she enjoys.
And it's in a weird way because it's like I guess it's helping her deal with it the best they can, and the only way they know of just the same day over and over and over. But it also feels a bit like keeping her hostage in her own mind, or like
Yeah.
There's
was, like-
like it's a bad situation, but they're not necessarily dealing with it well, which is what sort of Adam Sandler does point out.
Yeah,
He was like,
exactly.
that
Yeah,
actually, what she was more freaked out about was the fact that you'd lied to her.
yeah,
Yeah, the whole like the first part of it when it tells you what's happening with her, and you learn about the family doing all this stuff. There is a bit of these people just because there's no mention of we took her to a doctor and the doctor said to do this. It's just they're just doing it. Are these people just doing it and not taking her to a doctor? Has she not been to a doctor about this? They should definitely. And then it's like, oh no, we took her to a doctor. The doctor said this is probably the best thing you can do.
Yeah, because she was in hospital for like 3 months. So her dad, who I'm not sure, I can't remember what the actor's name is, but and then her brother is Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah, tanned Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah, with a
who's
lisp.
hooked on steroids.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was funny though. I did like him being it. His outfits were fucking ridiculous because he was just in like a sort of like fishnet like.
Yeah.
He's wearing a
cropped-
lot of
Very-
fishnet vests. Yeah.
Very 2000. This film it's really sweet about her. Like that everyone in this town is so nice to her.
Yeah,
Like,
because they all
they're-
know what's happened and they want her to be okay, so they're going through with it as well. Because she goes to the same breakfast place every single day, and that's like where
Really?
Adam Sandler meets her because that's where she is. And each day she does something slightly different with her waffles.
No,
And
she has
the-
an ongoing theme. She only has a couple of waffle
Yeah.
houses. She's not
She-
that creative.
And everyone in the breakfast place is lovely. The owner, I forgot the character's name, but I think the actress's name is Amy Hill.
Yeah, her and the chef in that place were like such nice characters.
The chef is an arsehole.
He was funny
The chef
because
is an
that
arsehole.
bit where he's having the bet with Adam Sandler, is like it was
Yeah,
funny.
so Adam
but-
Sandler sort of picks her
Yeah.
up the first time, and like obviously they have a really nice day together, and he's like, "Oh shit, I actually do have genuine feelings for this girl." And then the
Mm.
next day, she has no idea who he is, and that's
Yeah.
when he gets pulled aside, and the owner of the restaurant like explains, "Yeah, she's had this brain injury. There's nothing you can do. Just stay away from her. I don't want you like fucking around with her." He then proceeds to fuck around with
Yeah.
her.
But not just he doesn't just pretend to fuck around. The other guy does as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're
The guy
trying to
behind
like
the bar
have a
does
bet.
as well. The chef does.
It's sort of like those time loop movies where there's always that phase where they just fuck about and kill themselves and get do all sorts of weird
Yeah.
shit
Yeah, yeah.
because they know that there's not really consequence to it going wrong.
Yeah, and it's so. I did. Yeah, as soon as that guy, the cook, was like, "Oh yeah, no, let's make a deal. Like, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
you know
But
this
at the
girl.
same
You know what she's
time-
been through. You're a bad person."
What is the harm?
I mean, I would personally feel awful making
Yeah.
a bet on whether this person who can't remember every day would fall in love with you or not. I wouldn't make that bet
Imagine
personally.
having to convince yourself every morning that you love Adam Sandler.
Oh, that's the hardest part.
I know, right?
Because she's gorgeous in this. She's got that beautiful curly blonde hair and she's all sun-kissed and lovely. And then he's just a bit of a dweeb.
He's just Adam Sandler, but at least
Yeah.
he's not Rob Schneider.
I don't know how the whole film I was like, I don't know if I'm comfortable watching this film. I don't know if I like this film. I don't know if I'm okay with this film because number one, the whole memory thing is a bit fucked. The idea that he has to sort of actively manipulate her into falling in love with him, even though about halfway through it goes, oh, she's in love with him anyway. She just needs to be reminded of it. Is kind of where it lands.
Yeah.
The first part is like, I'm gonna manipulate this woman into falling in love with me. It
Yeah, he
feels
does a lot of
good.
setup, and that's the comedy part of the rom-com, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I did enjoy them. Like the car gags were quite funny, like intercepting her car in all the different
penguin.
ways.
Well, the penguin in
Um,
the little jacket.
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
little shirt. Great.
And
Um,
when he's in the restaurant and he's like crying and he's like, I can't read. I was like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on?
So-
like,
So that part was like the other half of it that I didn't like is she was really like childlike.
yeah, yeah,
Like the way that she was sort of babied by the town and the way that she was like in the first bit, she's really like infantilized.
Yeah.
Like she's like a kid. And then as soon as the crying thing happened and she's looking after him and she's like, oh, this is fine. And then when he gets to the car and she's like, is that it? You're not going to ask me for my number? I know it was all a joke.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I thought it was a
she knew that he
shit
was.
lie.
Yeah,
I was like, oh no, she's not being like babied. Like, she
They're just
has her
they're
head
just
on.
everyone in the restaurant is quite happy for Adam Sandler to make a dick of himself.
Yeah, like she's got her head screwed on. So it was like that. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It was just like it was weird
Yeah.
that the first half of it I was like, I don't know if I like this.
It was really cute when they're like dancing because they've like both got in each other's numbers, and then the car between them moves and they see each other.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
oh,
great. That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was cute, and I did like the chemistry between them.
That's got great.
And I did
Yeah.
like that when it was a bad day, and she did find out, like when she gets the ticket on her car because her plates are out of date or her tags are out of date or something,
Yeah.
and she finds out they don't then do like I was expecting there to be some sort of awful kind of heist cover up thing, but instead they just tell her, they just explain it to her and take her to the if she wants to go to the doctor, they just take her.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
they say
can't-
like this has happened a few times before where she's found out, and
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just yells out to Doug like we're having a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine it was the first time she'd found out.
No, and it
No.
must be like absolutely terrifying knowing
Well, the
that
crying
when
and the
you go to
sobbing.
sleep, you will not remember anything that's just happened. Like
Yeah.
that must be so scary because you know it's inevitable.
And finding
like,
out that you've lost months and months of your life.
yeah,
A year.
Yeah, knowing that finding out that you've got like this injury that's got no sign of going away. There's nothing you can do.
Hmm.
Like I think she handles it very well. The time that we do see where she's like sobbing on the beach and beside herself.
There is
It's-
that
yeah.
because so he's been trying to date her, and there's like good days where he can date her and bad days, and then he goes to visit her family, her dad, and her dad says she only sings when on the day she's met you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, she
That's
thinks-
how.
And she's
that's
singing
how he
she's
knew.
singing the dad and mum's like anniversary
Yeah.
song.
Yeah, it's is it God Only Knows by the Beach Boys? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Is it?
yeah. It's one. It's
It's
one
the
of
Beach
the
Boys
Beach Boys
song.
song. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I'm gonna search for this. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Keep
can't.
talking.
Which, like, in itself, that little scene where they find out, where they're talking about the song, and the dad explains the connection to the song. The connection to the song is also really sweet as like a single line, which is the fact that he would go fishing with them, and they'd play that song because he knew that it would make him miss his wife, and he'd come back quicker.
Yeah.
Like, that's so. For
Wouldn't
like
it be nice?
Yeah. Yes.
That's
like
the Beach Boys song.
as like a throwaway line. That's really sweet for
Yeah.
like the
Oh yeah,
backstory
and the
of
other
song.
weird thing that we hadn't touched on was that because her dad's a fisherman and he'd go away for months at a time fishing, she
Yeah.
likes the smell of fishy hands.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's when they first meet, and he says about how he works with walruses and stuff as a vet, and that's why he's got like weird fishy smelling hands. But then there's like the sort of payoff where he meets her the second day, and he just sits down opposite her, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my hands are real fishy because I've been playing with my walrus all morning," and she's just like, "Ew, get the fuck away from me!"
Screaming. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I'd react that way.
it's Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys.
Yeah, we covered that.
Did
Yeah.
you? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I was too busy searching for it.
Um,
Okay.
we can cut that bit out then. don't worry.
No, it's okay because
So there was like a weird. I'm not sure if it was a gay joke, but he says what's his name? Schneider? Who's the
yeah, Ula
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
character's name.
Ula?
Because Adam Sandler
That
in
says,
this is
like,
called
hoof.
Henry.
Puff,
Yeah.
but he says it like he doesn't say it like in a gay way, just says like poof, and then they sort of say poof to each other loads, and like Adam Sandler's just taking the piss out the way he talks,
Yeah.
but I was like that's not great. That word is problematic to a lot of people, and then he shoves a blunt down his joint down his arse crack, and I was just like, I've forgotten what just happened, and that's all I can think about now.
Yeah. This film is like has a really sweet story in it. It has like a really cool rom-com story.
And then Rob
it
Schneider's
has,
in
like,
it.
Yeah, Rob Schneider's in it, but also like it has like Adam Sandler shit all around that.
Yeah.
Where it's like oh, this really cool story about this like rom-commy love story, and it's actually quite sweet and like initially quite scary, and then it's like, oh yeah, no, but there's like 47 dick jokes.
Yeah.
There's like weird.
If this had been
transphobia.
like another actor, like your Ryan Gosling or your someone else,
Ryan Reynolds would have been great.
Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah. 'cause
Ryan
this
Reynolds,
was-
'cause he
this
could
was, like-
carry the comedy.
Yeah, because 2004, this was like what around the time when he was in Blade Trinity,
Hmm.
I guess. So that Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds in this,
But yeah, like the comedy Ryan Reynolds.
but
when he did
still
comedy
Drew Barrymore
like,
because she's
Yeah.
fucking great.
perfect. She's
Yeah.
She was great in this, but I think the Adam Sandler effect on this makes what is a really sweet and nice story age really badly and just sort of
horrifically.
gross in parts of it. Like the dick jokes, the golf scenes, the fact that
the,
you have to.
the golf scene was great because it's just him taking the piss out of Happy Gilmore,
Yeah.
where he's just like, "That's the stupidest swing I've ever seen."
Yeah.
And then
I've not seen Happy Gilmore.
yeah, like
We're not doing that film.
No, I don't think I think I've seen it like once, but not enough fondness of it to
But
warrant.
yeah,
an
if this wasn't
episode.
an Adam Sandler film, I think it would have been really good, and I
When-
think it probably would have
yeah.
aged better because
Yeah.
there wouldn't be this need to make it a rom-com.
Definitely would have aged. I think it could have still been a good rom-com. I just think the
Yeah.
comedy bits was too Adam Sandler.
Yeah, it just was tonally just not right.
Considering this is from like the era of rom-coms, this is from the early to mid 2000s where they just made rom-coms.
Yeah.
Like every other film at that point was the poster was a man and a woman standing back to back going, "Oh no!" Like every single one with like 8 kids around them. That was like every film at that point,
Yeah.
and none of them have aged amazingly because they all have
We're going to do Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Does that fall into that one?
yeah,
a rom-com?
kind of.
Action
No.
rom.
It's not a rom-com. But yeah, it's got that smear to it that like, oh, this would have been funny if it wasn't dick jokes and
To be fair, you should see the cover for the poster for Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
yeah, no, it's not a rom. There's also there's another transphobia joke, kind of transphobia joke, when she's sat down talking to her friends.
Oh yeah.
When they go back and she's talking to her friends that she hasn't talked to for a year because blah blah. And
one of them's transitioned.
Yeah,
and
one
she
of them
dead names them.
and then apologizes and it's fine. But for some reason it cuts back to like the awkward jokes that the trans person makes. Like there's like a series of sort of awkward jokes they make, and it's like I don't understand this.
And there's like this, and this is something that I find was like, yeah, very of its time when it came to like transphobic jokes, is that he's a man, he's transitioned. They make that clear, but then he's like does something, you know, very feminine, says, "Oh, I need to go tinkle." And it's like that's a way. No, that's not how it works.
Well,
It's not a woman in a man's body at that point.
Yeah.
Like that's not.
But
yeah.
also, like, that's fine. The problem is that was landed like it was the punchline to a joke.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, at the time, that might have been funny, but the timing of it, like, it was said, and then it just kind of the camera just sort of stayed there for a little bit before it got away. And it was like,
Yeah, because then it went
Was
on
that
to the
a
next
joke?
scene, didn't it? That
Yeah,
was like
it's like-
the last bit of that scene.
was that a punch? Like, that felt like a punchline, but I wasn't sure what the punchline was. And
Yeah,
I spent
just
the entire
this-
next scene being like, was that transphobic?
I think it was because it's
think
quite
so,
a
yeah.
common. It's a common trope with jokes that targeted at that like demographic is that they're like it will be a woman that's transitioned into being male and appearing male, but still has like feminine qualities. Or like the opposite is the joke from the IT crowd that's aged really badly. I thought you were
Oh,
from Iran.
Yeah.
Don't talk. Yeah.
And they're like, she's a male to female transgender woman,
Yeah.
but she still acts like a quintessential bloke
Yeah.
drinking
yeah.
beer and watching pizza with him. It's sort of like that joke, but backwards, and obviously slightly milder. But
Yeah, no, that was.
Yeah,
you know,
the
you
IT
go
crowd
on
one
Mumsnet
makes
and
more
complain
sense
about it.
now that we realise that the creator is an absolute cunt.
Yeah.
But anyway, on with the movie. So
Yeah,
like,
this movie
yeah.
dipped in and out of being
yeah. So
stressful and bad.
she says to him that a good way to get her talking to him is to talk about lilies because she loves lilies, and he
Yeah.
makes her a VHS tape so that
Yes.
like every morning she can watch it and it will sort of go through everything that's happened.
yeah,
Is she
so it's
gonna
like
be,
instead of
updated?
lying to her every morning, getting her to think that it's the next day, actually just being upfront every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And starting the day with this is what's happened, this is the situation you're in. And where it's a VHS tape, it got me thinking though, imagine if they made this now and it's just her looking at her Facebook memories. But every
No, that
day's
would
the same
make it a
thing.
lot easier.
Yeah.
Well, I was just, the like Facebook year in review
Yeah.
for her would just be the same. thing.
Just every single day is the same thing because she
Oh,
takes
weird.
a selfie at the same point every day of her cool art that she's done in the garage.
Threatening. I mean, if it happened now, it would just be. It would be easier if it happened now because it would just be a memory stick with a load of videos on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a
You've gotta
VHS
make it-
tape.
Well, I think it has to be made by someone because she can't spend the entire day finding out what
Well,
she's been.
Oh no, but it's
Well,
easier
that's-
to cut a video together online than like
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
splice
definitely.
together a
Splice
VHS.
it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
You must have-
dedication from the Adam Sandler character to do that.
Considering it seems to be updated when anything happens, like
Yeah.
he seems to be updating the video, which means he's got a lot of cassettes. And also by the end of it, that video's got
You
to
can
be
write
like,
over them.
it degrade after a long while. Like it would degrade pretty quickly. But that would mean that by the end of it, that video would be like a couple hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think maybe you just cut out unimportant.
Just cutting out you're literally getting rid of old memories. for
Yeah,
it.
she doesn't get those memories anymore.
No, she's
No.
not allowed.
She gets what you chose, but then you say she gets what Sandler chose for her. But we find out that she actually started keeping a journal,
She did,
Yeah.
she was
which I
keeping
thought was
it on.
really a nice touch because it did actually give this character some autonomy over the situation, which she
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of before because of the whole setup.
Yeah, she had sparks of it. She had sparks of autonomy that made it kind of okay. But yeah, no, she kept a journal, and then she had all the bits. She wanted to get rid of all the bits with it because he is offered a job, I think.
Yeah, his boat's ready, so he can go
His
and do
boat's
it.
ready,
and,
so he can go do the thing.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
doesn't want to hold him back, so she wants to like take him out of her memories. So
Yeah,
she
he's,
like they go
removed
through
her
it.
from the book.
He does write it all up on the laptop so that he can keep it. But then she goes through her book and like takes out all the stuff about him from the diary.
And then there's like a weird joke in that where it says like from her, it was like, we had sex for the first time. Didn't last long, but it
Yeah.
was great. Like that was funny. That from like that era, like that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
And then, like when he's about to go, the dad and the brother like give him like a CD, and one of the
Yeah.
songs on it is the Beach Boys song that she keeps
yeah.
singing, and he's just like crying while singing
Yeah.
along to it, like on the boat. That was a good scene.
Great.
And we find out that at that point she's been, because they've been separated for a while because she breaks up with him, and then he does get a few months later he gets on his boat and he finds out there. He obviously asks how she's doing, and she's actually moved into the facility, the
Yeah.
brain trauma clinic that she was
Yeah.
at before,
But
which I
think-
thought was
yeah,
like yikes. But then she actually seems quite settled there.
yeah,
Yeah, like maybe she should have been there to begin with,
but
because yeah, she's like teaching everyone art.
yeah, because she was an art teacher, or was it? I can't remember if it was. Yeah, because the parents gave him the CD, but I can't remember if it was a CD that she.
Of
Yeah,
of,
I think-
Well, no, what they
there-
say is that she's
Yeah.
singing again,
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's like
Yeah.
if she's singing again, that means she's
she
remembering me.
remembers.
yeah.
Because because it had been 4 months since
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
happened.
But now we enter the horror of this woman's life for the past 4 months, because he goes to this facility and he sees her and she's like, I don't remember you, but come with me. They go into like a her art studio full of like different medium and different style paintings of him,
Yes.
which the film presents as quite sweet and like, oh, she's remembering.
Yeah, like it was in her dreams. Oh,
Yeah, I saw that as this woman is, imagine going to sleep and every night you dream of the same, you have a dream that involves the same person, a person you do not recognize.
the person you don't know exists.
Is so ingrained into you that you have to paint it every single. How scary would 4 months she spent with that nightmare? And imagine if it
Well,
looked
for
like
her,
Adam
it's not
Sandler.
4 months that she spent with that nightmare. For her, it's one night. That dream she had that
One
night.
nightmare.
Although
She's remembering
she
it.
must know, because if imagine she has the dream, she
But
like
that's
paints
so much- yeah,
she-
that's so
she-
much scarier.
She has the dream, she paints
Wakes
him,
up and
she
he's
goes into
everywhere.
her office and there's just full.
Another painting of him, and then the next day there's 2 more paintings of him. That's so
Yeah.
much scarier.
But they have a video cassette thing set up for her as well. So what they have done is like Adam Sandler, his sort of legacy on her at that point is that he has at least helped them find a way of caring for her that helps. And
Yeah.
like they're not lying to her; they are telling her about it every morning.
Yeah, and her being in the place where the doctors are looking after her can make things easier.
Yeah. Well, it seems to work because we see that morning, like she wakes up, she reads it, she gets scared, she thinks about it, she goes outside, she starts teaching the class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
obviously, she probably will have bad days, but
Yeah, in general, she's helping other people with this condition by
Yeah.
teaching them to paint.
10-second Tom,
Yeah,
especially.
Yeah, that's a nightmare no one wants to live with, those waking up every day to an image of Adam Sandler.
Yeah. No, if that
I-
happens to
I-
me, guys, like just pull the plug or whatever you have to do.
I like that she started experimenting and painting him in different.
Yeah,
Art
different
style.
styles.
Which is like, well,
Big
I've
fan
done,
of
yeah, I've
that.
done pop art. Let's do surrealism.
Someone had to make all of them.
Yeah.
They had to hire an artist to make all of those. Now that's a bad job.
Imagine trying to get the quote, like trying to write up the quote for that. Though you're like, right, okay, so you want me to do what?
How
Oh,
many?
some art props for a scene in a movie. Cool, yeah, done that
Yeah,
before.
cool.
they all have to be Adam Sandler's face.
All in different mediums,
There is going to be an extra charge for that,
different styles.
for the psychological trauma.
Yeah,
I can't have just the one artist do all of them. They will go insane.
yeah, that's not.
They get every
We're going to have
single
to
person.
spread this
to do
around a
one.
few people.
Yeah, and then we get to, I mean, it does skip over it, but I imagine it's fucking terrifying for her.
Waking up every
so-
day pregnant?
Yeah, because
Oh,
like she wakes up on
pregnant.
she's on the boat at the end. She's got the VHS. They're married, and she's got a kid. But yeah, while she was pregnant, that must have been fucking awful.
On it, why did he take her on a boat? That's the
'Cause
scariest.
she didn't want to
thing in
hold
the-
him back.
But
Yeah.
also, like, that's. I mean, there's no need to worry about that. Though. But that's the scariest thing ever. Can you imagine not remembering yesterday and waking up on a boat with someone,
With Adam
Yeah.
Sandler.
with a
like-
man that you are dreaming? Because assumedly the dreams don't stop.
No.
Yeah.
She's still dreaming about him, and then she wakes up isolated in the middle of nowhere on a boat with him.
And her dad. And then more
And her dad.
scarily, her, 4-year-old baby?
And yeah, she did wake up with the pregnancy. Must have been again, yeah, like you said. After
Yeah,
we
what
found
happens
out.
if
Yeah.
she, like, has a nap during labour?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, she's nodded off, get the video tape ready. This is going to be a weird one.
Do you reckon that's in the video?
Yeah.
tape?
Yeah,
Maybe.
because it does.
They were like, well, to be fair, she's not going to remember it.
Yeah, because it does scare her. Like when she falls asleep next to Adam Sandler, and then they wake
Yeah, they
up the next morning
finally,
and
that
she
we
just
have
screams.
the first, like, they sleep together, literally, like, in the same
Yeah,
bed.
she wakes
And
up
then she wakes up,
screaming.
she screams, she starts throwing stuff at him. It's yeah,
Uh.
it's honestly the most believable bit of the film.
He must wake up every morning. He must have his own alarm
Hmm.
that is set to like 6 a.m. Headphones in, sleep with headphones in, alarm through the headphone, get out of bed, set the tape up, leave the room until she wakes up. Like
Imagine what if she wakes up in the night to pee? Like, you know.
terrifying on a
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah, you'd have to pee over the edge or into a
She'll
bucket
walk off
first.
the water.
I don't think that.
That's not the problem. The problem is her waking up in the middle of the night, leaving the room, stepping and falling into the ocean.
Or like, imagine if like their daughter had a nightmare and came into the room and was like,
Right.
"Mummy, I've had a nightmare. I'm scared."
Can you imagine in the
And
morning?
then the mum is like, "Who the fuck are you? Get out of my house! Where am I?"
Can you
like-
imagine in trying to convince someone that they want to have a child with you? Like he
Yeah.
had to do that every day. He had to be like, "We want a child," and she was like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's quite sweet, and the way the movie presents it, and like the way she's okay with it, does make you think, "Oh, okay, it's nice." She actually, what he does get to do is give her a fulfilling life that she would never have had without someone willing to do all of that.
But there's definitely a
But
reason.
there's
they
like,
skipped
oh
the
god, those bad
pregnancy.
days would be really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's definitely a reason they skipped the pregnancy.
Yeah, morning sickness. Imagine
Yeah.
waking up watching a VHS and immediately throwing up. Like,
Right?
Or waking up feeling sick and you're like, oh my god, like the last thing you
What's
remember
wrong with me?
is
Why
a
am I
cow
on
stepping
But
out
she
in
would
front
get
of the
to do a
car.
pregnancy announcement every day for quite a
To
while.
herself. To herself.
Gender
Gender
reveal
reveal
day.
party every
Constant
day.
gender reveal party.
There's a lot of balloons and a lot of forest fires.
I was glad
That's
that
why they're
her
on a
dad
boat.
was there as well, because that does
Yeah.
show that like if
Yeah,
something did go wrong, like
Yeah.
her
Yeah,
family,
it is,
like
but-
obviously she knows him from before.
yeah, exactly.
And there's
makes
also
it
like that
easier.
heartbreaking line where it's like, "I wish I met you just one day before my accident,"
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she always says that like it's the first time, and he's like, "Yeah, you say that all the time."
yeah. It's only
Which
the dad
would
that
lose
goes,
its
yeah,
impact after the first like 8 times. You'd be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
amazing.
Yeah, I know.
yeah. But yeah, the reason it's only the dad that goes and not Doug is because Doug would freeze his nips off.
Doug would freeze his nips off.
And he might
Also-
lose his tan.
Yeah.
Yeah, his dad likes fishing.
What I find funny is
Yeah.
how soon after Lord of the Rings this would have been. Like,
But you've
imagine,
got
imagine,
two
right?
roles.
2001, Fellowship of the Ring. 2002, The Two Towers. 2003, Return of the King. 2004, tanned, muscly guy with a lisp in 50
Right.
First Dates.
When you don't know how well a film's gonna do, you take it.
Yeah.
But saying that, like this film did amazingly.
Yeah,
This film
it
did
is, yeah.
like this film did so well. I forgot the impact that this film had on like rom-coms because it was remade in not like redubbed. It was people remade this film in like 8 or 9 other countries, which is that doesn't happen often. They're never like this film's so good. Let's just make a copy of it in like.
Yeah, sometimes you get like a
Indonesian.
Bollywood version, but you don't get multiple.
No, there was like an Indonesian version. I think there was a Chinese version. There was like maybe a Vietnamese version. There were like so many of them.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Like, why? Why this film? Why did this film hit so many people in just the right way to make them love it, and I don't like that it also affected me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
I don't
So
like that.
yeah, I was just looking at exactly how well it did. So the budget was 75 million roughly.
Yeah,
It made 198 million like
Yeah.
worldwide. So yeah, it did really well.
it did really well, and it's wild because I can't fully understand why, and I don't fully
It was the
understand
right
why.
movie at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know why I like it so
Like,
much now.
Yeah, it was big. It was still during the big Adam Sandler era as well, and yeah,
And
Not
he
his Netflix revival era.
no. Although, have any of you guys watched Uncut Gems yet?
No.
Because I recommend it.
No, it's an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah,
no.
but it's not a comedy. It's like a serious drama with Adam Sandler in it. He's really good
Nope.
in it.
Nope. not
Like
happening.
genuinely, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
if you want a different movie by those people,
Uh-huh.
watch Good Time. It's by the same directors, but it's got Robert Pattinson in it.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
Yeah, it's really good.
So we've talked before about like actors you just hate.
Is it Adam Sandler?
It really is because I really any other actor, and I think this would have been like a really
Perfect film. Yeah.
perfect, like just what a really nice total suspension of disbelief, cute story,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and instead you're dragged back to the reality that is Adam Sandler exists
Yeah.
and is not good at comedy.
One thing I am glad about though is through doing this podcast, you're realizing that you have actors that you can't
Yeah.
stand, and it's not just me.
I
Although-
just don't understand how you could stand Adam
Yeah.
Sandler.
But I can't think of anyone else to play the role who'd play it well, apart from Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But that era Ryan Reynolds, not now era Ryan Reynolds. It's still wild that Ryan Reynolds started in like a weird TV show, a
Hmm.
comedy, and then he just went on to be like the rom-com guy.
Yeah, and now he's replying to other podcasts about whether or not he's drank Bovril.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I was at a football match the other day, and you can tell it's a Midlands football match because their hot drinks options were tea, coffee, hot chocolate, or Bovril.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the person on my left had a hot chocolate. The person on my right had a Bovril.
Bovril's great.
It was a confusing sensory experience.
Yeah,
it
imagine
smelled
accidentally
really
picking
well.
up the wrong drink.
You
Ooh.
would smell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you smell Bovril
A
before
while
you.
off.
It's basically
mile
just
off.
like drinking gravy in it.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of
amazing.
meaty Marmite drink.
They sell Marmite drinks as well. It's not as common.
Yeah.
Look, it's
Anyway.
an English working class
Yeah.
thing.
Anyway, so out of
Mm,
10, how
really
many
good.
cups of Bovril would you give this movie?
An 8 out of 8. Why? No, 8. 8. My favorite character of this 8. The woman who owns the breakfast bar. She's the best
Amy Hill.
character. Amy Hill. She's the nicest character, and it fucking drives me wild that she isn't billed higher because she is one of the most important characters in this film. But no, the Doctor has a higher billing than she does.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's
He's a
Dan
big
Aykroyd.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ghostbuster
But
man.
she's far more important. She's far
Yeah.
more important to this story. She's also been in a shit ton. Like she's
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's done a lot.
Yeah, like Dan Aykroyd was probably on set for a day.
she drove so much of like the early part of this story. Give her. She's not even on like the top of the Wikipedia page. And then like who's in this film is all the other. Put her up there. She deserves it. Justice for her in this one film. But no, I'd go 8 owners of the breakfast, but 8 hers. 8 loving members of that community.
Would you still love this actor if you knew that she was in The Cat in the Hat?
Yeah, that's fine.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, like she's also
And the
like,
Emoji Movie?
yeah, working actors, jobbing actors take what they can. I've got no problems with that. Look, you stand up here with you're on your high horse about what films people are in. No one has to be in great films constantly. Some of them are just jobbing actors. Not everyone gets like full paid millions to be in 23 separate films playing the same character. Some people just take whatever part they can get and they're good at it. So I will die on this.
Yep. I would like to announce my apology. I am sorry. I did not mean to offend you or Amy Hill.
I'm sure she doesn't care. It's just wild to me that she isn't like billed higher. Because
Yeah.
if you go alphabetically, she's at the top.
Oh no, it's Adam Sandler then Amy Hill.
Yeah. No, but I mean outside of Adam
Yeah.
Sandler, she'd be at the top.
She
Amy
was
Hill.
beautiful as well when she was younger.
She's beautiful now.
Yep.
Okay.
I would like to apologise again to Amy Hill.
There, I'm an Amy Hill stand first and a human sec.
I can't wait till Helena realizes our special guest on the next episode is Amy Hill.
I would be so happy.
That'd be great.
yeah.
Let's find her on Twitter.
So Helena, out of 10, how many more times are you going to offend Amy Hill?
I'd give this a 6.
How dare you? No.
I enjoyed it. I had
Yeah.
no nostalgia for it, and I had a deep-seated hatred for Adam Sandler, and it still did
Yeah.
well. Like, yeah, I really enjoyed Drew Barrymore's acting.
Mhm.
I thought the story won me over by the end. Like, at first I was like, this is fucking ridiculous, and then by the end I was like, oh, she gets to have a baby and go and
Yeah.
live in Alaska on a. Okay, it doesn't sound that great, but she gets to have she gets her life back. She gets to have a life she always wanted despite her disability.
Yeah.
And it didn't do the cop out thing of her being cured at the end.
Yeah. No.
I really thought it was gonna like one day she was gonna wake up and say his name or like remember him or something, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
And they don't go for that cop out, which is big for a movie that cops out everything else.
Everywhere, everything else is they give up on.
Um,
Yeah.
So yeah, so for that, yeah, 6. Nope, I'm drawing a blank.
So was she. Anyway.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
joke. That was an amnesia joke.
Oh, okay. Okay, that wasn't.
I'm
okay.
funny.
Sure. Right. You've definitely made more jokes on this podcast than I have. Well, ones that have been left in anyway.
Yeah, you've got to stop cutting all your jokes.
Yeah,
out.
you-
I
No,
only
no,
cut
keep
them.
cutting them.
I only cut them when you don't laugh.
No, keep cutting them.
So what about you, Dan?
I'd probably give this, 8 out of 10 times Rob Schneider can fuck off,
Mhm,
and
mhm, mhm.
8 out of 10 times Drew Barrymore should be in more things.
Oh, 100%.
It loses so many points for the bad comedy
Yeah, like
for me.
It's-
I just struggle with that. Like, it really took me out
Yeah,
of it, and it made me
no,
sort of disappointed in the film.
I did give. I think I did give my rating on like the good bits of the film
yeah,
and not
Like-
weighing in the back. I think I'd go between like 6 and 7, thinking about like the film as a whole, because I'm just remembering the good bits of
yeah,
this
like
film.
Yeah.
the core concept of it, and like just like the main character's love story and everything is really nice. It's just some of those
Yeah.
weird
And
side
even some
bits.
of the jokes, like I did quite like the comic relief that was Samwise Gamgee as a little sort of
Yeah.
not quite a twink, but
Yeah.
just a sort of
It's
whole
a
lot
twunk.
of
It's a
whole lot
twunk.
of stuff going on with that guy.
Specifically, it's a twunk.
That bit where he's trying to do pull-ups on a chandelier and it just falls out the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and that was in. I feel like for a rom-com, that was probably enough comic relief.
Yeah,
Big himbo energy.
But they chuck in 2 other characters
Oh,
with
yeah, a
just
couple
real
of
cheap
them.
shots and 2 animal sidekicks, and it's like you're laying it on a bit thick, and it's just you're not hedging your bets at that point. Like some of these jokes are not going to last. They're not
No.
going to age well, and
yeah.
No, I think I'm going to change mine to 6. Thinking about all that stuff.
sorry,
Because- Yeah.
sorry, Amy.
Well, with that, I have been Dan.
I have been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
You can find this podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord and everything as well. You can hop in there. Let us know what you thought of 50 First Dates. There's links in the show notes. And leave us a review anywhere that you get podcasts. It'd be very appreciated, and it helps other people hopefully want to listen to us. So
At Amy Hill actor.
let's not harass Amy Hill, guys.
hello and welcome to Hey. I loved that. Okay, I'll do it again.
There you go. Run it back,
Mikey,
guys.
stop moving.
Run it back.